I don't know if you know this. This German, she was looking for a quiet place to work, and that's how I like to work too. So we had very productive, quiet working times together. So I watched this old edit at both the level of the writing and the level of vision. From reading this paper about the ecology of this beautiful island, and hope to explore the places that you've told me about, informed me about in the years to come.
Good morning. My name is Monumento. This semester, I researched the great facing Monumento and Domingo Fuerte. My essay presentation is Riverborne, the first Miguel Domingo Fuerte. Located in Hacienda de Bauruco on the southwest side of the Dominican Republic, el Monumento Natural Miguel Domingo Fuerte consists of a unique ecosystem. Endemic plant, mammal, and reptile species critical habitat to preserve ecological health. Unfortunately, deforestation due to the destruction of its result. What is so important for this ecosystem is the complete ecosystem in particular. For the presence of rivers. Many rivers are born in a monumental fuerte that holds on the people. In fact, consultant Albert Lopez points out, of rivers and streams with local relevance is why the monument was declared a protected area in the first place. Rivers such as Torpico, Bautaris, are living in this area, as their waters are purposes. Water for domestic use, for agriculture and livestock. Research uses areas loan and wage. This has rivers not only have the money to improve the rivers located around the mountain, but also for those located in the coast of the Caribbean Sea. This suggests that the destructive electric stability of el Monumento Natural Miguel Domingo Fuerte would not only leave the communities of Polo, Paraíso, Villa, Juancho, and Oviedo without clean and sufficient water, but it would also affect the coastal areas like Barahona, demonstrating that the lives of the people living in and around the monuments are directly affected by what happens to the monuments. Anything done to the park, positive or negative, equally affects their lives. In addition to supplying water for more than 112,000 people, el Monumento Natural Miguel Domingo Fuerte is a biodiversity hotspot. It is home to a wide range of flora and fauna, including endemic and critically endangered species. El Monumento Natural Miguel Fuerte is home to the last two species of endemic mammals in Española, el Esperanlodote de la Española and el Pie de la Española, both of which are classified as being in danger of extinction. Writing in the study, Relevamiento Biológico Rápido, Broca, Landestoy, Martínez, Espinal, Sano y Melia also state that el Monumento Natural Miguel Fuerte holds 247 species of vascular plants. Endemic to the island, of which are more than 170 individuals, and other 93 species of 22.64% were migratory. This suggests that restoring showing that in addition to providing a home for endemic species, el Monumento Natural Miguel Fuerte provides shelter for a large number of migratory birds that find refuge during the winter. This suggests that preserving the Monumento Natural Miguel Fuerte is not only important due to the high percentage of endemic species living in this area, but is coming to the reserve reproduction. Curriculum study will look at la Martinez disruption of this ecosystem would have a total amount of non-Canadians on the island of the unexpected diversity that is sequestered in the reserve. Activity, which also natural habitat stability, must be stopped. Unfortunately, despite the importance of this ecosystem and concentrated efforts to protect it, in Monumento is being heavily devastation. The main problem with the deforestation in this area is that it destroys the habitat of the species and also wildlife in the area. Deforestation as former rainfall is Domingo, and therefore our roots full of water and Monumento of the mountain. 13, Stefan Luz folded a satellite image detailing the impact of deforestation in the park based on a study conducted by the Ministerio del Medio Ambiente en el Instituto Dominicano de Desarrollo Integral. As shown above, 697 acres, or 21% of the monument, has been moderately deforested, and 24 acres, or 1%, has experienced severe deforestation. The driving forces behind the deforestation in the protected area are light mining and illegal farming. Stephen's graph showing where light mining takes place in relation to illegal logging in the monument reveals that although most of the mining is done outside of the park's limits, the mining has influences inside of the park's boundaries. Juan Manuel Diaz points out that this is mostly due because the informal mining of Derimar, a semi-precious stone endemic to the Dominican Republic, happens just a kilometer and a half from the park boundary, causing damaging impacts to the park's flora and fauna. The main problem with Derimar mining in Barroco Oriental is the miners use of wood to build the structure of the mines. Journalist Carla Pimentel points out that every 5 or 6 feet of distance or mine, a wooden framework must be placed in order to stabilize the mine. And since the mine is only a kilometer and a half from the natural monument, it is easy for the miners to venture into the reserve looking for wood without them even knowing they have crossed illegally into the park to harvest timber. Another issue driving the deforestation of the park is the agricultural activities taking place inside of the protected area. Deforestation in the monument is seen mainly through the elaboration of conucos for subsistence farming and for commercial farming. Juan Manuel Diaz points out that people who do not actually reside in the monument simply introduce themselves to the forest or plant short-cycle crops such as leña or amarilla for commerce and often hire laborers, usually from Haiti, to settle in these communities. According to a study performed by Broca Alonso Martinez Sana Medina, this type of agriculture is the main threat facing Barroco Oriental, as it can wipe out the forest mass in just a few years. Previous studies have demonstrated that the area of Cuneta originally had a coverage of almost 100%. However, according to recent observations, coverage has been greatly reduced to a little over 60%. Similarly, the area of Huacho once represented a very dense forest, but now its vegetation covers only 30 to 35% of the area. According to the study, these areas were and are being subjected to heavy stress due to agricultural activities, including coffee plantations and subsistence farming, which produce degradation and erosion in the soil, giving rise to a change in the vegetation structure and composition, which allow for the establishment of invasive species. Soon, if this type of activity isn't stopped, other areas of the reserve will suffer similar consequences, which could possibly lead to the accumulation of species in a small area of the reserve, and possibly to their extinction. To a certain degree, each of these problems is a result of economic pressures, since the leading force behind all the factors threatening the Monumento Natural Miguel Fuerte's ecosystem is the need for economic stability. To some extent, the people participating in its deforestation are doing it because they need to make a living. Although the costs are clear, the impacts of these economic pressures haven't yet been fully studied. During my research process, I could find no sources that directly address the needs of the people who were participating in this type of activities. And due to the limited information that exists about the socioeconomic pressures driving the degradation of the monument's ecosystem, it is difficult to craft effective policies in response. Thus, Sociological investigations are needed if we are to understand the full scope of the problem and respond to it accordingly. Knowing the monument's importance as a biodiversity hotspot and its abundance of natural resources, many organizations have come together to find solutions for this issue. For instance, different organizations have built a management plan consisting of individual people or organizations that supply funds or participate in different activities in order to address the different issues that the monument is facing. Juan Manuel Díaz points out that in December of 2012, la Alianza para la Defensa del Bosque Oriental, ALDEBOR, was created. This alliance brings together a number of governmental, private, and non-profit organizations such as the Colegio Internacional of invasive species and the monitoring of species. In addition to ALDEBOR, companies have worked together to provide ecotourism as an alternative to legal mining and family farming, in order to address the economic needs of the people, but at the same time preserve the area. According to Elizabeth, small examples of sustainable forest management have already started to take place, as is the place of Fuerte. It promotes ecotourism as an alternative to the indiscriminate felling of the forest. Ecotourism is a viable solution as it creates awareness in the people to protect the richness of the monuments. And while each of these solutions partially addresses the challenges facing the monuments, none of them address the full scope of the problem, because each is only effective to the degree that it involves those whose economic livelihood depend on forests. Consequently, any program implemented in order to assure the ecological health of El Monumento Natural Miguel must respect the true needs of the community of Bosque Oriental. In his paper, Management Planning and Stakeholder Alliance Building, Juan Manuel Díaz emphasizes that in the isolated and humble communities of the Dominican Republic, social needs are very basic: food, water, health, education, housing, and the use of natural resources to meet the needs of agriculture and livestock are all legitimate. Constant long-term work is needed to identify alternative income programs linked precisely to biodiversity conservation and sustainable exploitation of resources. Of 1,300 meters, very few people have visited the place or know the importance of this ecosystem. This means that they don't work toward protecting the area from deforestation and other threats because they don't realize the impact the monuments on their lives, even though they benefit from the water borne in this area. Thus, by involving those who depend on the monument for water, food, and economic stability, can increase their investment in improving and protecting the monument's conditions, as they will realize both the relevance it holds in their lives and the potential it has to provide a stable level of sustainable resources and income for surrounding communities. In conclusion, preserving the ecological health of El Monumento Natural Miguel Domingo Fuerte is extremely important, as this area holds a significant percentage of the country's endemic species and is the birthplace of many of our nation's rivers. And although organizations such as la Sociedad Ecológica del Paraíso, SOEPA, and el Instituto Dominicano de Desarrollo Integral have already started working on the park for their livelihood. It is essential that we study the forest used by these people and analyze the economic and practical needs driving illegal harvest practices. Then, we can address these needs by conducting new sociological and environmental studies, providing economic alternatives such as ecotourism, becoming part of ALDEBOR, and implementing programs that address the needs of the people living in these communities, teaching them the relevance of the park in their lives and the lives of others, teaching them that they matter and they can help make a change. Thank you. I'm open for questions.
Yes. Very nicely done, very well researched. Almost every question I have, you have actually answered. But I just wanted to clarify something. So people are allowed to legally live there.
They're not legally allowed to live there, but rules are exercised to follow.
Right, okay, but technically as a preserved place, you aren't supposed to be living there.
They aren't supposed to live
But
there,
they do.
but they do.
Yeah.
But there isn't a good signaling of the area saying like this is the limits of the park and you shouldn't cross. Right. So people don't even know that they're in a particular area. There isn't any sign saying you shouldn't be here, this is a particular area. So this is one of the reasons why also the minors are able to go inside the park without them even knowing they're going into the park. Because the mine is only a kilometer and a half, so if they just start walking looking for wood, they'll eventually get to the monument without them even knowing what they're doing.
Right. And when it comes to subsistence agriculture, in your research, did you find that there are ways to do it in a sustainable manner that doesn't lead to the deforestation, or?
A few years ago, I did a project talking about this for GI, Global. So what we came up with a solution for that was that greenhouses should be built outside of the protected area. Because the thing is, all of the species are very vulnerable to any alterations. So if there's any change in the density of the forest there, then it would directly affect several species and it could inevitably lead to their extinction. So if we place this type of farming outside of the monument, then in greenhouses or in ways that are beneficial for the people, maybe even closer to the roads, that way they can sell it for commerce and get money out of it, then it will take the deforestation for subsistence farming away from the park and into other places that could be controlled more easily and wouldn't have so much damages inside of the species and for the rivers.
I'm interested in one of the things you and I talked about a little bit during your preparation is about how people who are concerned can get involved. Like, what is the most valuable contribution I can make to efforts to conserve this area? Or I guess I would also ask that question for people younger than myself. Like, can you address that for both students and faculty?
For students, when I was doing the research with my advisor, coming up with solutions, we talked about something that I did with my school and a group of friends. And we saw this presentation my advisor made, which he used to work in that area with Instituto Domingo, and he suggested that we join Aldewood, which was the alliance that I showed with different schools and different organizations, and they just have a list of all the problems that they need to address in such a complex problem. That you can just pick the ones you think you could help with, like you can make the science that you want to, you can help improve the roads, you can help with surveillance improvements. So that way, one of the solutions he and I were talking about was a CMS to join Aldewood and have a club dedicated to helping Baruch Oriental in the monuments. Of course, this is not a project that can be like done in a year. This would have to be someone who's willing to spend a lot of time and effort and a long-term work in order to improve the conditions, because everything consists of going out there, which takes like 6 or 7 hours to get there. And then talking with the locals and emphasizing them and telling them this is the importance of the place, and then teaching the new generation of people who are in the monument about the importance, so they grow up knowing about why it is important to protect this area, and they themselves, if we give them the proper resources, they can make the studies needed to know more about this area. When I was doing my research, I noticed that most of the sources from which I got information cited the same people or similar people, and they all said the same thing. So, and I'm actually which parts of the park study, and the center area there's still been studied fully because it's difficult to get narrow. So more people need to come here and do studies, so more projects know about the park. So if we teach the people there about the importance of the place, why we need to consider it, and give them the proper tools about how to do the studies, they themselves can do the studies and report back to different people such as FBI, instead of us to decide to do a project to start helping that. And then for individual people who would like to help, also contacting so they will look at advice. So you can also contact them because you're the main town area located there. So if they were protecting it, so we're just calling them saying, you show interest, they would have a lot of activities which you can help with.
Is there an ecology club at the school?
Yeah, I mean, different clubs like Sea Savers and I think it was
So we need like a tree huggers, we need like a tree huggers.
yeah.
Forest.
I remember this, so we, it was an environment actually felt
No, that's great. I think there's a really interesting part of this. You're right, it's very remote. As far as I'm Santo Domingo, and it's up in the mountains and all that. But there's an interesting connect that brings people to it, they don't even know.
Away with these big companies. And when the big companies are looking for profit, then it will be more difficult to like address the problem with them. And I don't think this is not addressed in like places we're trying to sell you items. It's not going to be like, very depressing, this monument, but might be enough.
And maybe that's an opportunity for Westerners. Like I know, like if I go somewhere and they're like, "Ooh, this coffee's fair to trade."
Yeah.
Oh, I'll spend $3 because I know this is like socially responsible for that space. So they can like,
Although Mr. Rosewolf has forgotten it several times, we've seen pieces of Laramar that he's been like, oh, I like that, and I'm like, yeah, but only the museums have it certified
yeah,
fair trade. The Amber Museum and the Laramar Museum certified that theirs is fair trade, and all the pieces that are stamped with the little bug on the back, right, all that's fair trade certified. So I think that's already set up. Some people are forgetful.
But were there exhibits about the deforestation?
No.
They were, well, in the one that we went to in Malamana, it was mentioned on the wall, but it wasn't, it's not going back. But I think that's because, you know, tourist mind is like 3-second attention span for everything, right? And you can really tell if that's what they're aiming at, but there's no conversation about it.
Because if we can sell something, I don't think telling them the cost of it would help them
Yeah.
sell. But if it was responsible the way that they sell the land, then they should mention it and say you're one of the places who cares about the environment with which we mine. That way, like I would buy from a place that would tell me that they're not responsible for deforestation of like natural monuments.
Well, and it's really tricky because, like, in the museum that's in La Romana, they had certified Laramar there, but then they also had a table with non-certified Laramar.
Outside.
Yeah, it was lower quality, and if you didn't get the little certificate when you buy it, like the certificate that certifies that it's genuine also says that it's free trade and responsibly harvested. So you have to educate people about certifying. But I was wondering about, like, what about getting the miners and the mining families hooked up with some school, like the Colorado School of Mines, to improve their mining technology there, so that they don't need to go cut wooden struts for the mine. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like there's got to be a better solution.
Yeah, that's what you might have mentioned saying that if we find other ways that isn't using wood to stabilize the mines, and what you said about maybe getting them in touch with a university or a school that can help them know different techniques to mine without damaging their environment, like responsible mining of the forest,
Yeah.
then that way the mining wouldn't be an issue in the park. And then the families who benefited from that and mining would have been techniques for their mining.
Yeah.
And then maybe their results would be better and they would have a higher market.
That would be a very interesting project. That school, Colorado School of Mines, is a school I think would be open to it. I don't know anyone who's going there right now, but.
I don't know.
But I know outside, I know that there's outside colleges and like the Philadelphia Zoo, they come here to make studies and they discover like a new species of frog when they were here.
Hey.
So like there's still a lot that people need to learn about this ecosystem.
Yeah.
So I think more studies are needed, and that would people coming here and the people from the Colorado School of Mining, they can come here and then they can study that mine and that rock because it's only endemic here. So what benefits both ways?
Yeah.
So more regulations like that should be built.
Thank you.